This is the most dangerous road in Alaska. 414 miles of rough road, limited services, heavy industrial traffic. We're to be crossing the Arctic Circle all the way to Prudhoe Bay and back for a total of over 800 miles. And that's why my friend Brad and I decided it was going to be the first place we go on our next bucket trip.
Everybody says Alaska is the last frontier. I just see Alaska as the wild beauty that we love. It's super remote, it's massive, it's got all the wildlife, all the water. There's so much to see, and I just hope we can see almost all of it.
Onyx Off-Road presents Bucket Trip.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We're at Epic Adventure Outfitters today to get started on prep for the trip to Alaska, which is a long-range trip. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is extend the range. All right, so this tank is from Titan Fuel Tanks, and according to the documentation, because my memory is terrible, this is a 52-gallon or 197-liter fuel tank, which is an increase from the 117-liter stock fuel tank in the Ram for an increase of about 80 liters.
Yeah, you got a little bit of dirt in here.
I don't know how that happened, really. So looking at the two fuel tanks side by side, you can clearly see that the new one is considerably larger, which is what we want. Let's put it in.
Our journey north is going to take us up through British Columbia and Yukon over the course of several days. Winter here is just beginning to thaw.
We are right now just south of the Yukon border. We should be crossing into the Yukon today, and then we got another couple of days of driving before we cross into Alaska.
It's snowing and it's cold, my friend. I was in flip-flops and shorts like 5 days ago.
Entering Yukon.
Everybody says Alaska is the last frontier. It's super remote, it's massive.
And this is one that we've been talking about since the end of our trip to Arizona. We were like, where are we going to go next? Obviously, we're going to go to Alaska, the last great frontier. We've been traveling for about 3 days, and we are getting close to the Alaska border. We should be getting there tomorrow, I think. But for tonight, we're camped on this beautiful beach that we found using Onyx Off-Road. And if you take a look at the screen right here, you'll see some of our routes and waypoints that we've planned out. Bucket Trip 3.
Heck yeah, man. Alaska, here we go. I'm ready.
How good is that shared folder feature in Onyx Off-Road?
That is incredible. So I spent a lot of time working on the route and all the waypoints, and then I would send it your way. You'd give me a little feedback. I add some more things. Then I'd text you and be like, oh, I found another cool spot. Check it out. It was really fun creating that and then being able to work back and forth with that. So it was good.
Yeah, we're going to be following that the whole route, and you can follow along with us, so check out the link in the description. Also use code TSTN20 to save 20% on your Onyx Off-Road subscription. So this is going to be our third bucket trip. Our first one, we went to Tuktoyaktuk at the topmost point of Canada. And then our second one, we traversed the entire state of Arizona.
Bucket trips are trips that you just have wanted to do for so long. There's a lot of distance involved, there's a lot of logistics involved, and it's not something you want to do by yourself.
We're gonna get this adventure started and start heading towards Alaska. We gotta make a stop in Whitehorse first. There's something we need to purchase, and then it's onward. You ready to get this officially underway?
I am, man. I'm gonna miss this campsite, but I'm looking forward to what's to come.
Heck yeah. I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah, dude, we're missing something.
Never go on an adventure without the right hat.
On the way in here, we did see a brown bear, so I'm keeping my eye out for any wildlife because I'd like to get some cool shots. I bought a big zoom lens for this trip, and I intend to put it to good use.
Moments later, this beautiful white-haired grizzly appeared on the side of the road. It was calm and just observed us, and I took it as a good omen for our trip.
That was so awesome. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. All right, we've arrived in Whitehorse, the capital of Yukon. All right, we didn't find exactly what we were looking for at the sporting goods store, but I did get a little bag of flies for my fly fishing rod.
We continued north towards some epic-looking mountains as we passed a herd of buffalo along the side of the road.
These mountains just look crazy.
I marked several, not knowing where we were going to end up today if we decided to camp before the border. And we saw what those other two like, but this is where we're at, and then it's a ways until we get to the next one.
Yeah.
That one's got potential because it says wild camping on a
that
lake.
one's kind of off. Is there a road that goes there, though? All right, guys, we followed a trail down to a lakeside camp spot to check it out. Not quite as early in the day as we'd like to stop, but we had to check it out because look at the views around us. These mountains are insane. But we're thinking the best call is to carry on and put some more miles under us towards the Alaskan border. Make some miles.
One of our goals on this trip was to do a lot more fishing, so we took any chance we could to throw in some lines.
My theory is there's just no fish in this river. We have made it to Alaska. Get in here, Brett. Yeah. we're officially in Alaska. We've been driving most of the day. We just made a stop at Fairbanks, picked up a few supplies for camp, and now we are making our way to the start of the Dalton Highway, which we'll be traveling over the next 2 days probably, depending on how things go along the way, to get up to Prudhoe Bay, which is the top of the world. This is the most dangerous road in Alaska, the Dalton Highway. Hello. How's it going?
I want to ask you one thing. Is it the stone? Is it the hit is the glasses?
Oh, we're not from around here.
Yeah, I'm from California.
So, did you finish the picture? Did you take a picture already?
This is the most dangerous road in Alaska. 414 miles of rough road, limited services, heavy industrial traffic. We're going to be crossing the Arctic Circle all the way to Prudhoe Bay and back for a total of over 800 miles.
So the Dalton Highway was built specifically to help the logistics of building the pipeline to get oil from Prudhoe Bay all the way down to Valdez. And they didn't build it to be, a passenger road. It's a rugged road that over the years has been repaired and washed away and repaired and washed away. And there's not a lot of resources out there. And if you're not careful, you could find yourself off the side of the trail or running out of gas, and it could be a long time before you get assistance.
Sounds exactly like the thing to tackle first in Alaska.
Man, it's already looking beautiful ahead of us.
Yeah.
We've just got done the Dalton and the views are already spectacular. I can't wait to see what we're going to see on this.
I mean, I can see off in the distance what the scenery's looking like. Just want to get through these trees and be able to enjoy it. But I'm excited, man. This is what I've been looking forward to for a year, so that we've been talking about this.
Yeah, we're finally here and doing it. We are here. You can see we've marked our first potential camp spot right here. So it's 7:37 p.m. Probably check this out and see if this is going to be a good place to stop for the night, because we haven't even had dinner yet.
This is it?
Well, no, this is not it. This is the road being completely flooded out.
Oh, wow.
So we got to our first campsite that Brad had planned out for us, and there was a slight problem. There was water flowing through the trees, and the campsite had turned into a lake.
We had driven quite a few hours that day, and so we were already pretty tired, and we got to the first campsite completely flooded and washed out, at least a half a foot, maybe even deeper. And so, we had to do what we always do on these trips, and that's improvise.
Okay, so plan B for camp, we're going to be crossing the Yukon River, correct? And then looking for a place to camp?
There's a marked campsite on the other side of the river, somewhere near the gas station, like on the beach. And then if not, there's that campground that's just a little bit further from that spot. But that is a gas stop for me.
Copy that.
So on the Dalton, they built a bridge over the Yukon River, which was a pretty big undertaking. But that bridge, again, was strictly to support the equipment and the vehicles building the pipeline. And so I think they finished the bridge in like 1968, but they didn't open it until the 90s.
So until 1994, you could not cross the Yukon River bridge. That was kind of the end of where you could drive as part of the public. And then they opened it up So it's what, like 25 years ago? The spot that we were looking for to camp on the river was covered in giant chunks of ice. So we're 0 for 2 for camp spots.
Go up and look to the right here while you go down there.
Sounds good.
After a late arrival at camp, I made some dinner for us and we just went straight to bed. Camp was nothing to write home about and the bugs were absolutely awful. In the morning, we just kept things moving and got right back on the Dalton.
All right, we are rolling out of camp back onto the Dalton Highway towards the Arctic Circle. Arctic Circle, let's go! All right, we're about 62 miles into our 414 kilometer journey, so we got some distance to go.
Sure. At this rate, though, I think we'll be doing just fine.
I'm excited that we're going to the Arctic Circle again, because that was awesome last time.
All right, I can't wait to just see the barren landscape again.
Tell from the sky we're getting up towards the Arctic. It just looks different, like the clouds are closer to you and the sky is bigger.
We're only a ways in, but man, the road is really well kept. Hopefully they keep it like this for the trucks all the way up, huh?
Yep, I hope so. We definitely know how some rough, bumpy sections can slow us way down.
You know, those truckers, like, that's money for the whole industry, and they got to keep this road so they can keep up their pace. I'll bet it's pretty well maintained. We'll see.
When we went to Tuktoyaktuk last year, we had crossed the Arctic Circle in Canada, and now we'd be crossing it for the second time in a second country, the United States.
What other countries can we cross the Arctic Circle in?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine Russia for sure.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
You try to figure out where we could ship our vehicles and do it a third time?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somewhere.
All right, we are almost at the former ghost town of Coldfoot, Alaska.
Then they decide, like, what section is pavement and what section is mud and what section is gravel. Like, is it just whatever they got on hand and who's got the contract to build it?
Maybe rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, I see. So the gravel guy's lost.
Must be. All right, we're in Coldfoot. There's a gas station here, so getting some diesel. It is quite expensive, $7.49 a gallon, but it'll be more expensive when we get to Prudhoe Bay. So we're doing it. How much is gas?
It's only $7.49 a gallon.
It's the same for diesel.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. It's super cheap.
Super cheap. I was almost full. Well, this place was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, I could have expected more.
Peanut butter cookie was good though.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it's a little dry.
No one ever talks about the fact that there's large sections of the Dalton Highway that are paved. It's kind of weird because we're like 200 miles from the nearest civilization. But it's full on paved out here, which kind of takes away from the ruggedness of it.
But it doesn't take away from the views out here, which were getting better by the hour.
We were looking for a good campsite. We did a little exploring and kind of had some failures, but Sean got pretty motivated and he's like, I think there's something down here. And after getting through a good amount of rocks and some mud, we were camping right on a beautiful river. So we've decided in our bucket trips that we want to do something unique every trip. And this one was going and buying some crossbows, which, yes, we're a bunch of teenagers.
Did I hit the middle?
Might have been a bullseye, yeah.
We came down this little trail onto a riverbed and found the perfect spot under some mountains where we could shoot some crossbows and chill a little bit. So we did a little bit of target shooting with our crossbows. It's the first time for me shooting a crossbow.
In the morning, it was time to push towards the Brooks Range, which is supposed to be one of the highlights of the Dalton.
So today we're going to be heading through the Brooks Range and over Adigan Pass to get to the top of the world. We have, let's see here, about 200 miles to go.
We're going right in the thick of that.
I do.
I knew that we were going to experience some incredible beauty on the route, and I had no idea how beautiful the Brooks Range was.
So the pass at the peak of the Brooks Range is called Adigan Pass, and it's actually also the Continental Divide. So all the water from that point either flows to the north or it flows to the south, depending on which side of the mountain it's on.
So we're driving for quite a while, and the road's, there's nice mountains and nice views, but it's all pretty same. And then we get to this point where we drive up this little shelf road and we come up over the crest, and boom, there's just these giant snow-capped mountains all around us, and it turns into one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever driven my truck. Blowing my mind right now, guys. It's beautiful up here. This is not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but this is better than it. It takes a lot to impress me these days, but man, this is a pretty cool road.
The next section here is what's known as Adigan Pass. We watched as several heavy trucks came barreling down its winding path, which is just barely wide enough for two-way traffic. We waited for the right timing to make our go at it. The wind was absolutely ripping through here.
Reached the top of Adigan Pass, our minds were already blown, but then coming down the other side, it was just continuous. It was just so gorgeous. The ruggedness of the mountains, the snow on there, and it makes you wonder how they cross that pass in the dead of winter. I mean, we were in early spring, and it was easy going, but man, it was beautiful.
We just summited Adigan Pass. Start heading down.
After coming out of the pass, it felt like we'd crossed through a gateway into the Arctic. The terrain had completely changed, and the temperatures had dropped well below freezing.
literally from the top of the world, driving across these tundras and low fog, low cloud just moved in on us here. So now we have super low visibility and we have to watch out for these oncoming trucks that come by quite frequently.
The further north on the Dalton we go, we started to spot a few caribou here and there. And it started to be just one here and one there, and then it was a couple, and then it was just these lines of caribou.
I think we've probably seen about 1,000 caribou up here, and we just saw this whole train of them walking across the snow. It was awesome.
We could get some snow today.
In the forecast for Prudhoe Bay for tomorrow and the following day, so it's possible today, yeah.
Yeah, that looks like precip up there, and it's -2.
It's also 27 degrees.
I mean, that sounds way hotter.
Yeah, we've got a ways to go.
Visibility is getting pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not going to help our time distance. I'm looking for a muskox.
That would definitely be cool to see.
All right, we are just rolling into Prudhoe Bay. All right, we've made it to Dead Horse, the end of the Dalton Highway, which we're sure of because of this sign. We did it.
We did it. Are you supposed to ring the bell? What's the bell?
Ring the bell and heal yourself, it says. Okay, I'm healed. All right, we have made it to the northernmost point that you can drive in North America, Dead Horse. So we're gonna stick our sticker on the wall, get something to eat, turn around, and go all the way back the way we came. But this is just the start of our bucket trip, so stick around for the next one because we're doing a bunch more cool stuff, right, Brad?
Lots of cool stuff.
Lots of cool stuff.
So as we're approaching Prudhoe Bay, Dead Horse, I knew that this wasn't going to be a spectacular ending like we had when we reached Tuktoyaktuk when we did our first bucket trip. It's an oil field. There's a lot of industry there. There's a lot of equipment and machinery. In fact, if we want to get out to the ocean, we've got to take a tour, which we're not going to do because we've already been to the Arctic Ocean. But it was cool to see. It was a cool experience, and to be able to get to the Dead Horse sign was a pretty good accomplishment. But now we've got a whole long journey to go home.
We have to put our stickers on the wall to signify that we finished our journey. It feels good that we've completed this first mission on our bucket trip. Now we've got to head back down the Dalton Highway.
That's bitter cold right there.
Next time, the bucket trip heads out towards Denali, and as we explore some epic trails off the beaten path, things get interesting.